Right now, the Chicago Police Department is mourning one of its own. Officer Luis Huesca was gunned down on his way home from work yesterday morning. Now the hunt is on for who did it. Lexi Sutter is joining us now live from the 5th District Police Station where Officer Huesca was based. Lexi.
Marion, good afternoon. We know Officer Huesca was finishing up his shift and he headed home in the early morning hours, overnight hours of Sunday morning to his Gage Park home. That's about a 20-minute drive north of here, but he never made it inside. He was murdered just feet from his doorstep. At 2:53 Sunday morning, Chicago police got an alert of gunshots in the area of Kedzie and West 56th.
Shots fired scene 5501 South Kedzie.
It was there officers found one of their own, 6-year veteran of the force, Luis Huesca, laying in the street with multiple gunshot wounds.
That person shot. He's a police officer.
Officer Huesca was still in his uniform, having just finished his shift. Police Superintendent Larry Snelling said Sunday he was wearing a jacket over his uniform. It's not clear yet if or why Officer Huesca was targeted.
What we do know is that the officer's vehicle was taken. But to get to the total motive of what happened, we need more information, and the detective division is working on that.
According to Alderman Ray Lopez, Officer Huesca's stolen vehicle was located less than a half-mile from where he was shot. Multiple police sources tell NBC5 that detectives are looking for this man and would like to question him in connection to the crime. FOP President John Catanzara issuing this statement from Springfield.
Because some piece of predator decided that taking someone's car wasn't enough. They had to execute him. It's no mistake that law enforcement in this state and all across the country are under greater attack than ever before, but specifically in Illinois.
A terribly tragic story. Even worse, tomorrow would be Officer Huesca's 31st birthday. Instead, his mother, who survives, is making plans to lay him to rest. If those plans are public, we will, of course, share them with you. We are live outside the 5th District. Lexi Sutter, NBC5 News.
We want to take a look now at who Officer Luis Huesca was.
So many tributes and memorials have popped up in his neighborhood in Gage Park. NBC5's Charlie Wojciechowski went there to talk to some of the people who knew him.
A row of candles continues to burn in front of Officer Luis Huesca's home. A Chicago police squad car stands guard as members of his family begin to arrive. The 31-year-old son of Mexican immigrants was gunned down early Sunday morning as he returned from his shift at the 5th District.
His family, we've said that, we are with them and we accompany them and we walk with them.
In their grief, his family has turned to their parish priest at nearby St. Gall Catholic Church, Father Matt Foley.
He was a good and wonderful young man who served, and we want to leave his legacy alive in our hearts for the joy and the beauty of this community.
Huesca had been a Chicago cop for 6 years and knew how dangerous the job could be. He offered these words about his friend, Andres Vasquez Lasso, after he was killed in the line of duty.
He's one of those guys that actually deserves this star. He's very proud to wear this star.
It's really tough. Everything about my son has been stirred up. Today, Vasquez Lasso's mother, Rocio, is among those coming to pay her respects. He was with me 100%, she says. He seemed like a little ant. Luis, bringing food, taking care of things, doing one thing, then another.
I think the message for the community is that we live in hope and we trust our faith, and that we will come together, as we always have, to overcome all this loss and build a better tomorrow than we experienced today.
Now, only days before Officer Huesca was to celebrate his 32nd birthday, Father Foley says his next job would to plan the officer's funeral. In Gage Park, Charlie Wojciechowski, NBC5 News.
Investigative reporter Bennett Haeberle is looking through the data tonight. Bennett, what'd you find?
Well, Stephen and Allison, some numbers to think about in wake of this weekend's deadly shooting. We're not yet halfway through 2024. We've already matched the number of Illinois officers killed last year. That's according to a national nonprofit that tracks police deaths.
It's not a 10-1, but it's a PO. I think it's DOA.
Wait, 822, go again? Did not copy that.
That person shot. He's a police officer.
Units in 8th District and Citywide are getting an officer that's shot.
The radio traffic came in shortly before 3 a.m. Sunday as Chicago police officers and dispatchers tried to piece together what happened to one of their own along South Kedzie Avenue in Gage Park. Officer Luis Huesca was off duty at the time he was killed. Huesca is the 8th police officer to die by gunfire in Illinois since 2020. according to the Officer Down Memorial page, a national nonprofit that tracks law enforcement deaths. Chicago police officer Ariana Preston was killed last May during an attempted robbery. 2 months before that, fellow CPD officer Andres Vasquez Lasso died while responding to a domestic incident. All 3 gunfire deaths in the past 2 years have occurred on Chicago's South Side. While incomplete, FBI data shows between 2015 and 2019, a total of 257 officers were killed nationwide. Nearly half killed during that time frame died while conducting police work. 44 were killed in an ambush, and 15 were classified as being killed in an unprovoked attack. Officer Vasquez Lasso's mother met with Huesca's family Monday to offer her support. It's very hard, she said, recalling how the memories of her son are stirred up. Retired Chicago Police Detective Sergeant Richard Schack, now a criminal justice professor, told me homicide detectives must be thorough in their approach to solving cases involving officers, even if emotions are high.
When a police officer is killed, it's like a member of a family. And we're talking about a member of maybe 12,000 people in Chicago alone. And then we all have families. And Illinois State Police and the Elmwood Park Police, they're all part of that same family. And it affects all of us. It affects all of us.
And Schack tells us while there might be a sense of urgency to solve the case of a fallen officer, doesn't mean the other homicide investigations go by the wayside, and it shouldn't be surprising, he says, if police keep certain details of the case under wraps. Stefan?
Tonight, police have just released their first major clue in the search for the killer of Chicago police officer Luis Huesca.
Take a look at the surveillance video of a man that they are calling a homicide suspect. NBC5's Natalie Martinez describes who police are searching for in yesterday's deadly shooting in Gage Park.
Wanted for homicide of a police officer. Tonight, police are releasing this convenience store video taken 4 and 3 hours before the murder of Chicago police officer Luis Huesca on the 3100 block of West 56th at 3 a.m. on Sunday. They warn anyone who sees this person not to approach, but to call 911. The son of Mexican immigrants, Huesca worked 6 years on the force. In his 30 years of life, he made a great mark on his community. His priest asks to keep his legacy alive.
Good and wonderful young man who served.
Officer Huesca was shot and killed wearing a jacket over his uniform, returning home from work. Today, candles outside his Gage Park home. Huesca is the 8th Chicago police officer shot and killed since 2020. Andres Vasquez Lasso Jr. among them, and also a friend of Huesca's.
He's one of those guys that actually deserves this star.
Lasso's mom providing support as heavy emotions of her own tragic loss are stirred up again with Huesca's murder. He was with me 100%, she says. Tonight, it's still not clear if or why Huesca was targeted.
The officer's vehicle was taken. But to get to the total motive of what happened, we need more information.
The police superintendent made those comments on Sunday morning, 4 hours afterward, noticeably without the mayor, who our Marianne Ahern questioned today.
Why were you not with the superintendent when he announced the murder of Officer Huesca?
I thought it was important that I spend time with the family, because that's what my responsibility is.
Aldermen tell us Huesca's car was found less than a mile from where he was shot to death. He would have turned 31 years old tomorrow. At CPD headquarters, Natalie Martinez, NBC5 News.